We are in the studio today with my baby sister, Tess. Although I graduated 2 years before her, she is almost en route to graduating, and it feels kind of rough. Tess, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you, Tess. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Tess?
Yeah, well, I'm living up here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, going to UMB. Mm-hmm. And like you said, I'm your baby sister, 21, I'm a girl.
That's good, and we're calling you today to talk about your experience at UNB. Some pretty serious stuff is going on right there, and it's made its way up all the way to Newfoundland and Labrador, and we're really interested in hearing about that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to talk about it today.
So can you just tell us first what you're studying and how long you've been at UNB and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I'm in my third year here at UNB, and like you mentioned in my intro, I'll be finishing up this year, and I'm studying in a unique program they have here called Renaissance College. It's a interdisciplinary leadership degree sort of thing. Okay,
and what were you planning on taking this semester? Was this going to be a big semester for you? Or?
Yeah, I actually have 7 courses this semester.
7?
Yeah, I know. And yeah, they've all really been put on hold, so had a couple math classes, I'm in a business class, I had a little bit of everything going on, and all things I need to finish in order to graduate. So yeah, it's really tough.
So what's the deal? I mean, you were probably took a little bit of extra effort to get into all those classes and make that commitment, and you came back to, when you went back to UNB, when did you know that the teachers were going to start striking?
Well, before Christmas, they decided that they basically talked about it happening before Christmas, but made a truce to not strike during our winter exam period or our fall exam period. So we finished that up, and then over Christmas we found out that if an agreement wasn't made by Monday, January the
13th.
I guess what date was that?
It was the 13th.
Yeah, the 13th, then they would strike. So we basically went to school for a week and kind of had 1 or 2 of every class, depending on how frequently you had it, and then yeah, that Monday at midnight, we found out that, well, I guess kind of Sunday at midnight, we found out about the strike. And so, yeah, we didn't really have much time to do much before it happened. And now we've all just been chilling for 2 weeks.
So just to take a step back, so you did get your syllabus and stuff, so you kind of know. So are you studying that stuff? Are you?
It's sort of a dicey situation because every week or a couple days that we miss is going to have to be adjusted. The expectations are going to have to be adjusted in the syllabus accordingly. So,
right.
Though I have done some work that I know kind of will probably be happening still, it's kind of, you don't want to waste too much time reading things and studying things that might not be relevant in the end. And also, a lot of our professors kind of anticipating the strike sort of prepared us, at least in my case, sort of prepared us for what to do and what not to do during the strike time. But we've gotten countless emails about how we can't be held accountable for doing work or not doing work during the strike period.
Okay, cool. We were just gonna ask. So how has the university been with keeping you guys informed? Are they good and accessible about it, or are you guys kind of left in the dark?
No, I think they're pretty good about it. We get a lot of emails from both the administration, faculty, our faculty, my faculty in particular. Our dean has been keeping in touch, and also our student union has done a really great job running a lot of kind of information sessions and Q&A sessions and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, we've gotten a lot of information from all sides. It's just a matter of sort of weeding out what you want to believe and what you don't.
Yeah, so that was going to lead into our next little question about what the students have been doing on their time off. Have you guys been exploring Fredericton and experiencing life in New Brunswick to the fullest, or what have people been doing?
Beautiful New Brunswick winters.
Yeah, it's really a lot to explore here. No, I think, well, for me at least, I've just been hanging out, pretty much exhausting Netflix. Yeah.
Doing a little soul searching.
Yeah, pestering roommates who don't go to UMB, so they still have class.
Right. So,
Right.
So what is that, so what is the general student body doing? Are there demonstrations right now, or are students riled up, or what?
Yeah, well, we actually just held our first student demonstration last week on Friday. You may have seen it in CBC News.
We did actually see it in CBC News.
Yeah.
So when you say we, is this something that's motivated by kind of like the union, or is this something that is kind of more grassroots, as in random students are doing it, or?
No, our student union sort of threw it together. It was, I guess the idea was, the whole kind of catch line is get back to the table or get to the table or something to that extent. I mean, you may see it on Twitter. It seems to be trending. But, yeah, so I guess the idea was they kind of got a bunch of students, as many reached out kind of through various outlets of social media and email, and encouraged students to meet at our student union building at 7 a.m. on Friday morning, which was obviously like crazy early, especially for strike life.
Well, what else are you doing, really?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess basically like they just divided the students in half and sent half of them to our sort of administration hub building on campus, and then sent the other half down to the AUMBT strike headquarters, which is just like slightly off campus because obviously the faculty can't be on campus right now.
Right.
And we just kind of like rallied around, held signs that said, "This is my education." And I don't know, I wasn't there to be honest with you, but I like watched it on the news. Yeah, so it's just about kind of like showing that the students were interested and involved in wanting a solution to be found.
So are there any arguments that the teachers that have come from the teachers union that have resonated with you, and are there any arguments or anything that you can sympathize with?
Yeah,
or?
what's the student body's general sentiments about like the teachers side of the story?
I'm not sure. I mean, for me, I think a lot of it comes kind of back to the integrity of my degree at UMB and keeping UMB in a competitive place, kind of in the national scheme of universities. And if that means faculty needing a pay raise in order to kind of entice more, more qualified or desirable faculty to New Brunswick, then I think that needs to happen. But I do think that when you weigh in all the factors, it is a little unrealistic, possibly what they're requesting, and it would be great to see some compromise. Obviously, New Brunswick is, I mean, here in Fredericton, like if you compare it to universities in places, I don't know, like out west or even in big cities in Ontario and stuff, the cost of living is like drastically different, and I think that salaries need to be reflected on that. But yeah, so I guess like it's sort of a tough call where to stand.
Right, and that's a good point that you make about teachers needing to be incentivized to take up a job in Fredericton.
Incentivized?
Incentivized.
Is that a word?
That's actually the word of the day.
Well, I don't know about that, but it is definitely a word.
Like, are people now gonna like try and call in and like win a ticket to something or something?
Yeah,
No.
and actually, because you're our only caller ever, you win.
And because we called you.
Because we called you. You're the winner, Tess.
Thanks.
Okay, I think...
Yeah, one thing that I've been reading a lot, you mentioned it just then, the cost of living thing. I mean, basically, right now, from what I've been reading, the UNB teachers, if you compare the cost of living to their salary, they're already pretty much they're up in the top echelon. Like they're, with what the university's offering them, that would put them about where Dal is with purchasing power. And I mean, right now, they're already way above a lot of universities out west, like you said. So I mean, I get the teachers' argument, but at the same time, I feel like they might already be in a pretty good position, especially with what the university was offering them. That's not really a question. It's more just a statement.
I think something else that's important to look into, which I haven't actually looked into yet, so I can't really speak to the facts on this, but something I think worth looking into would be looking at the salary of our president, Eddie Campbell, as well as our administration, and particularly like kind of the more high up ones, like Vice President, Associate VP Peter McDougall, some of our deans, and seeing kind of where their salaries fall too in the grand scheme of things, and if those are comparable, or if it's just our faculty who are kind of at a loss or a gain here.
Yeah, are those people on strike too, or is it just the teachers?
No, it's just the faculty. So
Right.
all the administration, which includes the deans, are still working.
Cool.
Yeah, and even just I did find an interesting quote on CBC on the CBC article. I mean, it's from Peter McDougall, the Associate Vice President of Human Resources, where he said, "Our student numbers have been declining, student tuition revenues are declining, and government are hard pressed to provide us with operating funding." And he's associating that with, I think, his inability to, or the university's inability to compensate in the way that the teachers want. But I think it is a good point for you to raise that these people's salaries should be addressed as well.
Yeah, kind of everything's relative. Yeah, to sort of follow that, we actually just received an email recently from Peter McDougall, and we received quite a few from him, but this one that we just received is basically talking about the two parties coming back to the table to renegotiate the situation for the fourth-year nursing students, which you also may have seen in the news. They're kind of in a hard-pressed spot where they have to clock a lot of clinical hours, and because of the strike, they're unable to do so, and they have to write their, registered nurse exam in June, and if they're unable to kind of make the hours they need, then obviously that will affect their ability to do that, which will put their career on hold for a long time, because that test is only offered a couple times a year.
Right.
And in that email that we got about that, it says that the AUMBT is seeking a 26% salary increase, which we all know, over 4 years, which would add $45 million to the university's $179 million operating budget. And basically, it sort of threatens, kind of in the absence of new funding, student resources and different programs and stuff may need to be cut to accommodate sort of the faculty's wishes. So
yeah, so the spirit is that $45 million needs to be allotted to salaries, but could $45 million be allotted towards something like reduced tuition, or could the $45 million be put towards maybe a med school, or if we're gonna allot $45 million, is it best allotted to the teachers? And we kind of had that debate here at MUN too when we talked about allotting $25 million for a law school. Is there should that money be put back into infrastructure? Should that money be put into some other?
Well, building a law school really is infrastructure. I mean, I'm supportive of MUN Law School. I have a bias.
Here we go again.
I want MUN Law.
Yeah, but anytime a large chunk of money gets put somewhere, I imagine a lot of people kind of look at it like that could be my money.
yeah.
So back to just kind of how it's affected you. So if you're not going to be able to graduate on time, what are you going to do this summer? What were you planning on doing after you graduated?
Well, I actually just applied to do my Bachelor's of Education.
Right.
Here in the fall. And so if I don't graduate, I'll be in a really tricky position. I'll either have to sort of take on my course load over the summer to accommodate entering that program in the fall, or I'll have to defer that program for a year and take my semester that I'm in now again in the fall. But yeah, it's going to be really tricky, sort of, that program, the BEd program, you can only start it in January. You can't, in September. You can't start it in January. So, whereas many other sort of graduate programs, you have the option to kind of go in.
So could you almost be tempted to apply to go to do your BEd somewhere else? Well,
yeah, I mean, I definitely could, but
you need to graduate first.
It's the same issue no matter what, sort of. If I don't graduate on time, I still have to make the choice. Like, will I defer for a year? Will I take it on in the summer?
And they probably wouldn't even offer every class that you're in the summer semester, would they?
Yeah, in the summer or in the fall semester.
Right.
A lot of my classes now are sort of part twos of classes I took in the fall. So yeah, that is going to be something that the university is going to have to accommodate in a real way, I think.
Right. And was there any and you might not get that graduation present that you were
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, how are you gonna
the old Civic or something?
Yeah, it might be getting the old
I need that car, man. Yeah, that'll suck big time. I'm hoping that I can work something out with Grampy on that and Dad.
Tess, did you know secretly that I planned this whole strike so I could catch up to you and potentially get my undergrad before you?
All right. Well,
Probably
good
need a
luck
few
next
more years of strike to do that.
Like I beat you tying my shoes, beat you potty training, beat you riding a two-wheeler bike.
Are those things all true?
Well, I
Yeah.
couldn't ride a bike until I was 11.
Wow. I already knew you and you couldn't ride a
You couldn't
bike.
ride a bike till you were 11?
Oh my
remember-
god!
I
I learned to
remember-
ride a bike when I was 4, Max.
Well, okay, I'm gonna. That Civic still is within my grasp.
You don't even have your license.
Yeah, you don't even have a driver's license.
Hey, okay, team. All right, Tess. Well, why don't we give you the last word on this? Why don't you give us your insight and maybe some optimism or pessimism or what have you, and then we'll call it.
Okay, well, what I think about the strike is that it's really important to remember that it's sort of out of the students' hands. We can definitely go up and stand in front of the buildings when it's really cold and try and stir up some angst, but I think like in the end it's really not up to us, and hopefully for the greater good of sort of all parties involved a decision is made soon, because well, we all want to graduate or just finish the year. Like even younger students who aren't graduating need this semester to eventually graduate. So yeah, for now, I mean, I'm just gonna keep watching movies,
Catch up on some Netflix.
kicking the can.
Did you ever get Netflix again?
Actually, I still have access to Dad's Netflix.
I thought he canceled that.
Yeah, he thinks he did too, but it's still working for me.
What?
Oh, here's Max mooching off my Netflix.
All right, Chris, do you have anything else you want to ask before we go?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Okay, Tess. Well, thank you very, very much for coming on to talk to us.
Thanks a lot, Tess.
Hopefully, we'll get this up here very soon.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm glad I could chat with you. Hey, good talking to you too, Max. It's been a while.
Yeah,
so.
it's nice to see you. Nice to hear from you, Tess. I hope you're doing all right. And how's our aunt doing up in Fredericton? She doing all right?
Yeah, she's great. I might see her later today.
Tell
Actually.
Jane I say hi.
Yeah, went down and visited Grampy this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so lots of. I mean, I'm doing a lot of family time.
Yeah, he just mailed me all the clothes that I left there over Christmas.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Okay, Tess. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye guys.
Thanks, Tess. See ya.
Bye.